Hi there lads and lassies, I'm Lotus the skunk, and today I'm going to be talking about classical and operant conditioning. These two types of conditioning mostly have something to do with behavioral learning. You'll learn this in a psychology course, and both can be experimented in real life if you follow psychology's rules of ethics, also known as do no harm. But at the time, 3 psychologists did lots of unethical things in their studies, and today, not everyone would agree with how they concluded their experiments. So, in today's video, I'll briefly talk to you guys about what these two conditioning terms mean and give examples from the psychologists in history. So first, let's talk about classical conditioning. Classical conditioning is a term described by one Ivan Pavlov. Pavlov's study outlines an example of classical conditioning, which went something like this. If you ring a bell in front of a dog, it'll only look at it and not do anything. But then, if you ring a bell and give it some food, it'll salivate and wag its tail. And when you ring a bell again, but don't have any food, the dog will still salivate. Basically, every time the dog hears a bell, he'll get hungry, because his brain told him bell equals food. Also, how this experiment was unethical, the dog in question was forced to stay in one spot so samples of the drool could be collected to study his responses. Now besides Pavlov, there's also John B. Watson. In 1920, Watson used the baby and a rat for his classical conditioning experiment. The baby, little Albert, sees a rat and loves playing with it, until one day little Albert sees a rat and suddenly there's some loud noises that make him cry. Now every time Albert sees a rat, he starts crying. So Watson basically psychologically damaged an innocent baby. But the correct conclusion is conditioning a baby to be afraid of rats, or anything fluffy for that matter. And now let's talk about operant conditioning. Operant conditioning hadn't been thought of during Pavlov or Watson's days, so the scientist we'll be talking about is a Mr. B.F. Skinner. Skinner mainly used a box full of rodents and pigeons for his experiments. How it worked was something like this. Animal presses button, device releases food, animal thinks it's a good thing. That's it. That's the whole experiment. Skinner's study concluded that reinforcement, whether positive or negative, was crucial in learning new behaviors. Now you might be wondering why Skinner's image was tarnished due to this unethical experiment. Well, if not for the pigeons and rats being used, Skinner kept his daughter in one of these boxes. And she was okay with that. In fact, she was asked this question several times as she grew up, and she said that she did not mind that she was in a box. And Skinner did not think that was weird at all, by the way. And at this part the video is supposed to end, but I want to ask you lads and lassies if you learned anything. So pause the video and reflect on everything I said. Feel free to rewind. Okay, I think that's enough time. Now for the real things to consider. Classical conditioning regards responses and stimuli, while operant conditioning regards behavior and consequences. So lads and lassies, when you go and do your tests, just keep thinking about the stinker. Thank you for learning with Lotus.